Hello, welcome back. I just wanted to thank everyone who watches these videos, who subscribes, who comments. Thank you so much. It's fun to read the comments. I wasn't sure if I would keep making videos, but I guess I will, because it's been fun. I realize that I get a lot more stitching done knowing that I'm gonna have to show you something in a week, so it's been great for me. I've connected with lots of new stitching friends, and I love that, and I love that I'm motivated to sit down and stitch when otherwise I'm just sitting there doing nothing, because I'm thinking, oh, I've got time, I gotta work on that. I'm gonna have to show that in a week, and I'd like to show some progress. So that's been wonderful, and thank you for all the wonderful comments. You're all just been so nice. Hope you had a happy Thanksgiving if you live in the United States. We're so close to December now, almost. I guess we are kind of in the Christmas season, but for me it kind of feels like it's not December yet, but we're close. I put my ornament tree up behind me. Those are the only cross-stitching ornaments that I have so far, and most of those were made by someone else and given to me. So I definitely need to fully finish some more Christmas ornaments. Maybe through the month of December I'll keep, because I have some done, they just need to be finished, and then I can hang them up on there and you can see them. Maybe I'll just keep adding to it during December. All right, let's look at WIPs. I worked on G is for Garden, which is actually GHI leaflet by the Prairie Schooler. And I'm just doing the garden one. G is for Garden. I'm not doing all three of them yet anyway. And this is my progress so far. I'm liking the colors okay. As you know, if you watch the other videos, I've had all kinds of ripping out on this and changing colors and changing it to something else, and this color was too close, so then I had to rip that out. I actually changed the color of this house. It was not supposed to be the same color as this beehive. It was a lighter yellow, but that beehive yellow is my favorite color in this piece, and so I decided to do the house that same color. I think my favorite part so far is this little vine. It's going to go up and over the house and along the other side, but I love how curly, and I just love how it looks on there. I did this tree. These are all over dyed, mostly GAST, unless I had to switch out some crescent colors, which I think is now called, Colorworks. It's 2 C's still. Now I can't think of what it's called, sorry. But this tree I did long ways so that the variegation would run long ways. I thought that would look cool and look more like a tree. And the variegation on the house, I started along the top and then just kept going back and back and back and back. So hopefully, don't know if I can see it, but it does kind of look more like I was trying to make a shape on the roof instead of just the colors going back and forth stripey. But that's where that is. This was supposed to be done by the end of November, so I'm pretty sure I'll have it done by Friday. I think I can make it. I worked on it quite a bit over Thanksgiving, so I could make it to the deadline on that one. All right, Quaker Diamonds. This is Quaker Diamonds. Oh, let's see. G is for Garden. Is on 40 count Buttercream. 1 strand over 2 threads. This is Rosewood Manor Quaker Diamonds. You can see this. These are Valdani threads that you can buy in spools like this. I know a lot of people have used them for punch stitch, and I think that's what they were originally made for. That's why they're on long strands on these spools, because on punch stitch you don't want to punch needle, you don't want to have to keep changing your floss. But when I ordered the colors for it, where is it? I ordered Valdani threads online. I don't remember where from, it was so long ago, sorry. And they came in like regular floss hanks. Like this. Hooked to a card. Like this. Like you would buy normal floss. And I noticed someone online was talking about how Valdani threads were silks and they came in 3 strands and you weren't supposed to separate them. Someone else's video I was watching now, I can't remember who it was, and I was thinking, no, that's not what mine are. So I thought I would tell you, just in case there was any confusion as to what I was using. I'm using the Valdani hand-over-dyed cotton floss, 10 yards, embroidery, 6 strand. So I am using the cotton. And it's a very fuzzy cotton. It kind of reminds me of the flower thread you used to be able to get. It makes a really cool texture on the fabric. And as I said, I don't usually do 2 strands on 40 count, but I did 2 strands on this because I felt one strand was looking too thin to me, so I'm doing 2. So it's very full coverage, very rich, dense colors that I just love. Here's the whole thing. And I worked down here on this motif. I finished all of the little flowers and stuff that go all the way around the edge of that motif. And then I finished this little blue thing, and this little had a little bit up here to fill in. And then I started on the T and the D. But that's what I worked on this week. That one just that is the bottom of the pattern right there, so I just have to come over here and fill in that part, and then it will be finished. I'm hoping for a finish on this before the end of the year. I think I'll make it. I also worked on Shores. Oh, and Quaker Diamonds is on 40 count Picture This Plus Legacy. Sorry, somebody knocked on the door. And it was just the delivery man, so. It's a good thing I already have to edit this video and put several pieces together because of the stocking report, so won't be a big deal. I worked on Shores of Hawk Run Hollow by Carriage House Samplings. Mine is on 40 count Picture This Plus. I keep telling you that it's mellow, but I realized I pulled some mellow out of my basket the other day and I was just like, oh, this is not mellow. It's a green, and I ordered bunch of greens off the internet, green over-dyed fabric, trying to find the right one. We did all these floss tosses. I was doing a stitch along with my friend in Salt Lake, Sandra, who never started it, so I don't know if you can technically still call it a stitch along. So I'm really glad that you guys on Flosstube started a Hawk Run Hollow stitch along for 2018 a few months ago, so I can join that now and be part of that stitch along. I just have to tease Sandra that she still needs to start it. But I will try and figure out what color it actually is. It's a green. I'll have to figure out what color it is because it's driving me crazy. But it is 40 count linen. So here it is. As we told you before when Catherine was on the show, she did all of these borders on all the blocks for me for Mother's Day last year, I think. I don't think it was this year. And I worked on this middle block. And I want to have this block done by the end of November, so this is my other thing I have to get done by Friday, but I think I can make it. I worked on it quite a bit also over Thanksgiving break. I was out of school. I was only at work. I work at a school at the junior high, so we just had school Monday and Tuesday, and then I had the rest of the week off. Although Wednesday, was cleaning the house and cooking, because Thanksgiving was at my house, which you will see in a minute in the video. So, but I had a lot of time to stitch Thursday evening, some on Friday, and some on Saturday. Okay, so I have a question for you. These, as you can see over here, because of the color of the fabric that I chose, which is not the called for really dark sand dune-y, wonderful sand looking color. It is beautiful on that, and you saw that Catherine, my daughter, stitched hers on that. We showed you that in our second video. Because I chose this really sea stormy green color, these sails disappear. You can't really see the sails. Unless you're right up close, then you can see them. But if you get far away at all, those sails just disappear. And the gray, the light gray sails too, kind of disappear. So I kept thinking I'm going to have to outline them or something, or do I leave them the way it is? So I need your votes. Leave them the way it is and just let it be maybe a foggy day and you just can't see the ship that well. It's in the fog. Okay, this, I have to look and see where I did it. Between this sail and this sail, I have done some gray outlining, backstitching, that's just a little bit darker than this gray. I think that you can tell, in fact, okay, all the way around this middle this white sail right here is that darker gray backstitching. I think you can see it at the edges of it a little better than like this sail next to it that's not backstitched at all, and also the top of this gray sail has been, just the top of it has been backstitched because I was kind of experimenting. So there's that. Or there's this dark gray of this middle part. I backstitched this little tiny triangle and these two cells. So tell me what you think. You can definitely see this one better. Even from way back here, you can see the shape of the sails. I just can't, I was afraid it would be a little bit too much since there's no backstitching in anywhere else on the piece. But then I realized looking at the whole thing that it kind of looks like these dark borders that are around every square. So there you can see the whole thing. Again, let me know what you think, what your vote is on which one of those I should do. Whatever I decide to do, I'll have to pick out the other ones and then do all the sails the same. And then I got the rest of the water done this week and the anchor. All that's left is it's like a sunshine compass cool looking thing over here that's some brighter colors, so that will be fun to do. And I think I can have that done by Friday for sure. Oh, look at this. I got floss everywhere. All right. Paula Vaughn. This is the September quilt out of Paula Vaughn's Quilts for All Seasons. There's 12 in here, one for each month of the year. I'm doing the September quilt on 28 count Aida, white. And I was able to finish all this fencing over here this week. Worked on this on Thursday. Actually, I think I worked on it on Friday because Thursday was Thanksgiving. I didn't have time to work on it. And then there's some tree right here behind this fencing, and then all the background and a couple branches up here. I'm close. I want this to be done by the end of the year as well. This is my other end of the year finish that I want to do. So that's the Paula Vaughn report. It's coming along, I'm glad. Okay, that is all of... In December, I have Secret Snowdrift, which I showed you on the first or second video, can't remember. And then the Manger, or Alessandra Adelaide Manger Ornament. I'll be working on that in December too. I'm finishing those two. Those were Mania starts. I put 5 WIPs in my Mania starts. I wanted 5 projects to be part of that, and then the rest of them were new. So Paula Vaughn was a Mania piece. Quaker Diamonds was a Mania piece, so that's one of the reasons why I want those two finished by the end of the year, as well as all my other little starts that I'm doing. But Secret Snowdrift and the Manger Ornament are also part of my Mania starts, so those will be fun to have all of that finished. At the end of the year, I'm going to do what Blitz Stitch does, BLITSTITCH, and do a year review 2018, sorry, we're in 2018, review 2018. And I'll go through all of my WIPs and what I worked on for the year and what I still have left. And then before Mania starts, I'll do a Mania report where I tell you everything my last year's Mania projects and what finished and what didn't and what I'm planning on doing for 2019, Mania 2019. That's MAYNIA, in case any of you don't know what we're talking about. You can go Google that. All right. Okay, on Thanksgiving Day, for my old finishes, we're going to do the Christmas stocking report. And on Thanksgiving Day, I had a very small window of opportunity right after dinner when all of my kids were here and some of them were trying to leave. So we had to sit down really quick and do the stocking video. I apologize right up front for the sound quality. Some of us were closer to the microphone, some of us were further away, and we had lots of family in the background making noise. So just remember that quote from the Lizzie Kate sampler, "Our family is real," and I will insert that video right here. Hi, Flosstube.
Hi.
I'm not gonna say anything.
What am I supposed to say? Hi, Flosstube. This is Boss Daughter and
Bossy Daughter.
Yep.
And this is the Christmas stocking report. It's it's Thanksgiving Day, and we have just finished dinner, and now we're going to talk about our stockings.
Don't kill me.
And now we're traveling. Oh,
Get him kind of around the room.
You'll all have to sign a waiver. There you go. Keep talking.
all right. Boss daughter, are you first?
Am I first? Yes.
I don't know, bossy daughter, is she first?
She can be first. I'll allow it.
Am I doing mine and Merrick's or just mine?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, should we introduce the patterns first?
Oh,
Here, I need to borrow this for a second. Okay.
okay. I made stockings for all of my kids. I saw the first one when Catherine was a baby in, right when Cross Stitch and Country Crafts was new. And like when she was about 1, I saw these stockings and decided I was going to make her one out of this book. And so then everyone, at the time they were, every July, August issue of the magazine had a new stocking pattern. So after I made one for Catherine, then of course everyone had to have one from the same series so they all match. So they're from the Cross Stitch and Country Crafts magazine series, or you can buy it in this book. They've reprinted it all in the same book. Did anyone count how many? There are 9 different patterns that all kind of go together.
Yep.
All right.
Okay. So this is mine. It is the kitchen. It's the kitchen. And it's really cute. And it's got my name on it. And a little cow and a cherry pie.
And Dumbledore, he's right there.
What? Oh. Yeah. It's been really fun. I love it. And then
Do you have any memories from the stocking? Or anything that you liked on the front of it? Or did you just ignore the front and just go
Dumping
for
all
what
the
was
candy
inside?
I
out of
really
it.
like these oranges on the front of it. The oranges that have the little
Cloves.
cloves on them, even though I hate cloves. But I like the oranges. But yeah. I always like that you could tell
No.
exactly whose stocking it was, because it's like your stocking. So I just really appreciated having it for my whole life, because that was nice. Because now it has all of my Christmas memories in it, and not just like the last 5 years of my life or something. So I was really glad you finished it at the beginning of my life. And then when I had a baby, oh man, his is still like warped a little bit. When I had a baby, I made his, and I changed the reds colors in them because I thought the reds were too pink for my son. So
Very 90s. It was very
It was very
mauve,
90s style.
mauves and dusty blues from
Yes.
the late 80s,
So I
early 90s.
changed the red scheme, and I changed, I think this house right in the corner was pink. In fact, you'll see it on one of
Was
the
in the
other
house.
kids' stocking. Oh, maybe that was Andrew's. So yeah, the house was pink, and I changed a couple other things. I can't remember. I think I changed his name, obviously. I changed... Oh, no, it was the other one that I changed the blocks
Oh,
on.
this is Kevin's. So yeah, we will see it. You
Oh,
changed.
good.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Yep. So we'll do a comparison later when we
Yes.
see the other one, the original one.
Let's do it right now.
Okay, let's do it right now. Yeah, this one. Ta-da! So that's the original, and this is my alteration.
So the house is right here. Are 2 different colors.
Yeah. So they turned out really cute, and I decided to do the border different because I didn't want to deal with the piping. Is that what it's called?
Oh, yeah. The
didn't want to make it out of fabric. I just made it out of cord.
Cording.
Cording.
Piano white.
Thank you, Marie. You're so good at that.
All right.
All right.
Who's next?
Bossy daughter.
My name's Marie. This is my stocking. I can't talk about it because I didn't make it.
Well, did you like it growing up? Did you know what was on the front of it? Or did you just look for your name?
I knew it was, I just pretty much looked for my name. And then sprinted to it and dumped all the candy out. I knew I had dolls on it.
And do you want to tell us about the top of it?
What's my name on it? Oh, it's destroyed. Andrew destroyed it.
Andrew.
He's the worst.
Oh, we did. When I made them, I bought a couple yards of fabric because I was smart. And the inside is oilcloth. It's white patterned oilcloth that you usually use for a tablecloth because I knew that chocolate and stuff was going to get melted in here and I didn't. I wanted the kids to actually be able to use it, but not ruin it.
Yeah. And they've held up quite well over the 20-some
Yeah, Marie's is in the worst shape. Because she sprinted to it and dumped it out. I just need to, because it was hand stitched right there at the top. I just need to restitch
That's
that.
what it is. Okay. That's not a big deal then. Otherwise, they've held up quite well.
Yes.
All right.
She's like, can I go now? Can I go now?
All right.
All right, next.
Your
in
turn. Oh, no, you
Carriage.
were going to go last time. Michael's turn.
So what's my nickname?
And you're going to have to move.
You're Michael.
If you've got Bossy Daughter and
You're
Boss
Michael
Daughter,
too.
who
You're
am
not
I?
even Michael 1.
Well, you have to choose
Get on camera and we'll ask you.
Yeah.
Hi, my name's Michael.
Oh, and he's taller. You're going to have to scoot down.
Yeah.
Closer to you.
Yeah, I guess if I'd sat back there would have been easier.
Yeah.
This is my stocking. I can't say that I paid as much attention to the detail except for this right here. Did you add that teddy bear or was it already on?
It was already on.
So this teddy bear is surprisingly similar to a teddy bear that I loved and adored growing up. I still own it. Its name is Caramel. So that was special to me that was on there. And I know that that's on there, but I would actually have to look at it to remember everything else that's on there. But
Because you were also one
Michael.
who did what? Sprinted to it and dumped it out.
dumped it out. Well, you know, Serena just started eating it. Who needs to dump it out? I can reach it already.
True. That's true.
And so, Michael, since you haven't been on our show before, how did you get into cross stitch?
Well, let's see. As you know, I had some friends in high school that were into it, and you know, just over the years got more and more into it because, you know, just did it a lot with them. And wait,
I
you're
wish
not
you
talking
could see
about
my
D&D,
brother's
are you?
skeptical face.
You're not talking about D&D. You're talking cross stitching. No, don't do cross stitching.
Never. You have never picked up a needle.
Never
with
sewn a
floss
stitch.
attached to it. Although, you did ask to learn how to use my sewing machine.
Yeah, I can sew a little bit.
So I showed him how to use it. Do
Made
you
my
remember
own.
what you
Made
made?
my own. Well, I made a cloak forever ago. More recently, I had to improvise. I had to take an original cloak pattern that was just a small hood and then over the shoulders cloak, and I had to trim in the sides and add sleeves and change the hood to be a lot bigger and longer. Had to do a lot of improvising there, but turned out pretty well as a Jedi robe.
It did.
I really liked
It
that.
did.
So yeah.
So you do have some sewing.
Yes, I have some arts and crafts in me, but not not cross stitching.
Did you want to introduce your wife? Does your wife want to be in the video?
Do you want to be on the video? No. No.
All right.
All right.
Oh, wait, Michael, come back.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot about that.
There, good. Here comes Hannah. Yeah,
You know, I was gonna
Hannah.
say, Hannah should probably be in on it now.
Since you haven't been on the show before either, you can show.
This is Hannah. She's my wife. And this is our wedding sampler that mostly Catherine.
Catherine designed it.
Like a crazy person.
I offered to stitch, help with it, so I stitched the tree trunks. And
So-
maybe the swing. Did I stitch the swing?
Let's see if I can get you a good
I
image.
just remember doing the yarn.
I did like the straight cross stitch stuff.
So, it says our names. It's hard to see the camera and shoot at the same time. You can see our names. They're in the center. And there's our favorite scripture references. They're on the sides. And the trees make a heart, and they're holding a swing, and yeah. Hannah and I collaborated with Catherine to pick out the design and figure it all out. Turned out really nice. I really enjoyed
Never doing that again.
it. Coming up with a design, collaborating with someone else.
It was just hard to make it up as you go. And oh, this isn't working. Oh no, we're not gonna have to do that.
What I was thinking.
And this is not gonna fit.
Didn't you make up how to do the
Yeah, I did.
trees?
Yeah, the red yarn was easier because I could just tack it down and it just came like that. But the green yarn, I had to like,
You are almost in camera.
I know, right? Just a little.
Half your head.
So the green was the worst. The green took forever, but everything else was fine.
Yeah.
And I think, didn't we put gold rope on the swing?
Yeah, there's rope hanging
Yeah.
between the tree and the
Yeah,
swing.
that's right.
But yeah,
So yeah. So it turned out really cute, but
we enjoy it. Hangs in our bedroom.
way overly ambitious about that.
And then we had to have it specialty framed so that it's very thick.
Non-reflective too.
So that it
It's
was not
really pretty.
touching the yarn.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Shadow boxed. Is
And that
Yeah,
was
it's
the
like a
framer
shadow
at Craft Center of Fine Stitchery in Salt Lake City. Did an excellent job figuring out how in the world they were going to frame that.
Yep. There we go.
Okay, bye.
Bye! Thanks for coming. Come again.
Thank you. Come again.
We should have let him come here. They have to slide down like this 8-foot bench to get 10 feet, 10-foot bench.
Come on down.
Yeah. Oh, okay. You're gonna have to tell
Hello.
why we don't have your.
I'm Andrea.
And this is your.
This is our wedding sampler. This is Lauren.
Hi. Hello.
This is our wedding sampler. We love a lake that we've gone to ever since I was a child.
This is
I
where
told
we
you about
went
that
on our
last week on
honeymoon.
my,
Was Bear Lake.
We're supposed to say the location. Is that too much personal info?
No, because I told him about Bear Lake already.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
on
Bear
my
Lake. So this is Bear
garden
Lake.
sample.
Oh, too late. Already said it.
How much of a secret identity do you want, Mom? And so we found the sampler, and then the only addition we added was I think we changed one of the colors for a darkener contrast, and then we added the name. But other than that, all the rest of it was a base already designed. We didn't custom design it.
We were told we weren't allowed to.
We were not allowed to.
Yeah,
We
because
were the
after the last
to
one,
get
we said
married. No.
Minor alteration.
And it was from Etsy. I'll link the details below. She actually will customize it. If you tell her the names you want on it, she will put the names on there for you. She's awesome.
Oh.
So there was some customization.
You're telling me all I have to
We
do
changed-
is send her my request, and she'll do the whole thing for me?
We changed
Wow.
the colors.
Wow.
I changed. It was all flat DMC, and I added some variegated silk. And Catherine and I worked on it together. It was a collaboration. I would take it for a couple weeks, and then I'd say, I'm not going to be able to stitch, because we had a deadline by the wedding. I said, I'm not going to be able to stitch, Catherine. You
We
take
had
it
like
for the
a
next
month
couple
or
weeks.
something. Yeah. In a month we had this. So somebody always had to be
good
working
idea.
on it.
And you can tell how good these patterns are because even Santa likes it on the cover. So-
This is Santa approved, everyone.
Towards the back, probably, because it was one of the last ones.
Is it?
And Andrew doesn't have his because
We lost it.
One more.
We moved.
moved. We got married. Moved very far away from several different places at once, and in the middle of all that moving, it got lost.
I think it's somewhere here in the house, because
It's gotta
Andrew and
be.
I kind of remember that
That she brought it back. I brought
he
it
brought
back.
it back to me, like because he had it at his apartment at Christmas time, because he wasn't married yet, and then he brought it back a couple months later. And oh, don't show the,
Don't
just
show
show
the
the
pattern.
picture.
Yeah, it's just a
Oh yeah,
picture.
that's good. Okay.
Okay. Just checking.
I can't tell if it shows
Here,
it
I'll
that
help
well.
you.
Yeah,
Right
help me.
there.
Okay.
It's a shelf full of toys.
I'm sure I remember looking
So
at it
cute.
while I was waiting because we had to open the stocking and then we had to wait for breakfast to be done and then we could open family presents. So I'm sure that I looked at it while I was waiting.
I'm sure you did. I'm sure
I
you did.
remember parts of it. Let's take a look here.
Of course, yours
I remember
says
looking at this
Andrew at this
clown right
top
here.
instead of Scott.
Yeah, it doesn't say Scott. Yeah,
He's not Scott.
I'm not Scott. I remember parts of it. I mean, I couldn't tell you from memory. Oh, the fishing basket. I do remember looking
Do you
at
remember that?
Yeah.
My favorite part is Patriotic Santa.
Patreon, yeah. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I very much. I remember going to someone else's house and they had a very thin cloth stocking, and I remembered how much I appreciated having a thick, handmade, hand-stitched stocking from my mom. And now Lauren's gonna get one.
And I'm
yes,
really
we're
excited.
gonna make it. And if we can't find Andrew's, we're gonna make another one. But I'm pretty sure it's in this house
I'm
somewhere.
sure it's here somewhere.
So Andrew, tell us how you got into cross stitch.
Well, as a child, I would make pillows at Grandma's house, actually, because we'd go over there and I'm sure she had nothing for us to do. And we made pillows and they were awesome. I think I still have one. And we had to do sewing in junior high. And I think you asked if you could try cross stitch because Catherine and Marie were cross stitching and I was. And Michael was not there.
So Michael was playing somewhere. So we picked that pattern and you cross-stitched it, and then it was Christmas time and you guys were out of school, and I said, why don't you go over, because Grandma invited you over, I said, why don't you take this with you and have her help you make it into an ornament?
I don't remember that, but I
And then I
did
felt
it.
bad after I did it because I sent you over to Grandma's house to make it into an ornament.
Well, we made it, and I cross-stitched it. You can see that.
You made that?
I did, yeah.
Oh.
Another secret you didn't know about. And
I think that's the only thing you've ever cross-stitched.
I almost cross-stitched another one. It was like this big one, and it had 4 different sea animals on it.
Yes.
And I started
A
it,
whale or something. I remember that.
and then I took it downstairs because I had done some on it, and I wanted to show Catherine. And then Marie said, "Catherine's gone. You can stop pretending to like cross-stitching." And then I never did it again after that. Because I was like, wow.
Wow.
I'm not gonna do it just because Marie thinks I think it's cool because Catherine thinks it's cool. So I stopped doing it.
Oh,
I didn't do it
man.
after that.
Ooh.
So there you go. But I really enjoyed it. I very much loved it.
And we will find it. It's
We
here
will find it.
somewhere.
If we will turn this house upside down, we will find it.
We have a month to find it.
Yeah, it's time. We've got time.
Or stitch a new one. Do you think we can get one done?
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's like, no.
Get 2. You have to get 2 done because Lauren and mine.
Oh yeah.
Just kidding. Thanks for having us on the show.
Happy Thanksgiving. Bye-bye. All right. See what I mean? A little bit of chaos and lots of fun. But now you've got to meet all of my children. Just a couple things about the video before I move on to my stocking. I do have 4 children. Catherine, you've met. She's 30. And then my second child is Michael. He was in the video. He's 28. His wife, I believe, is also around 28. And then my third child is his wife, Hannah. Then my third child, Marie. She's the third. She's 25, I believe. I think. Yes. And then Andrew, my youngest. He is 22, and his wife, Lauren, is 20. So those are all 4 of my children, and now you've seen all of them. Marie's husband declined to be on camera, but he was in the audience somewhere. And then I was going to have my husband on and show you his stocking, but we forgot to do that in all the chaos. Maybe we'll have to have him on a different video. I don't know. As I said in the video, Andrew's stocking is missing. We can't find it anywhere. He had it at home in his apartment because he was at his apartment for Christmas morning, even though it's not that far away from our house. He wasn't married yet. He got a new VR game for Christmas that was installed at his house, on his computer at his house, so he wanted to be home for Christmas morning so he could play it. So I sent his stocking full home with him so he could have it Christmas morning. And then he brought it back to me a couple months later. His wife that he was dating at the time remembers too that they brought it back to me. I kind of remember this as well. But we were in the middle of adding this room onto our house that I'm sitting in right now, which is such a beautiful sunroom. It has 5 windows. I think you saw that a little bit in the video when Marie turned the camera so you could see all the way around. When he brought it back, I had stuff stacked everywhere because we had to basically empty this entire floor during the middle of that remodel. And I couldn't, there was so many things packed in my sewing room, I couldn't get to the back corner where I store the stockings. So I put it somewhere thinking it would be safe. And Andrew even vaguely remembers me saying, Andrew, you have a younger brain. I'm putting your stocking right here at Christmas time. When I ask you where it is, this is where it is. But that's all he remembers. He doesn't remember where we put it. I have looked. I haven't like torn the house apart, but I did look pretty thoroughly for the places that I thought I might have put it, and I cannot find it. He just went home today back to St. George, so he will check just really quick and make sure that it wasn't still in his stuff and that he took it home to St. George. They'll check. But I really think it's somewhere here in the house, and I am going to find it. If I can't find it, we're going to have to restitch it. And okay, let me do my stockings, which I forgot to do on Thanksgiving Day. This is the stocking I did for myself. I did the sewing room, imagine. And it was so fun to do. I think I did, as I said in the video, when Catherine was a year or younger, Cross Stitch and Country Crafts magazine was new, and her stocking pattern, I believe, was the very first one. It was the kitchen one, and I saw it in that magazine, and I was just like, oh, I gotta make a stocking for my daughter. She was my only child at the time. And so I made her the kitchen one. And then I made Michael's next. He was born 2 years later. The only rule was that Catherine was done by the time she was 18 months old at Christmas time, and hers was done by the time she was 18 months old. Michael's was done by the time he was 2, I think. And then I had some time in between where I did one for myself. Actually, I think I did one for my husband first. And then I had Marie and made her one, and then I think I made mine after that, and then I had Andrew and made him one. The only rule at our house is that it had to be done before they were old enough to realize that their stocking from the store didn't match everyone else's cross-stitch stocking. That was the rule, as long as they hadn't noticed yet, which was usually, so I think the rule, I think Marie and Andrew's might not have been done by the time, maybe until they were close to 3, 2.5, something like that, but they were too young to know, so it was fine. This was my husband's stocking. It's the garage workshop one. We showed it a little bit in the video, but I'll show it to you again. Which is perfect because my husband is a handyman. He can make things and fix things. He's awesome. So this was the perfect one for him as well. And then after we made that video on Thanksgiving Day, I found out that my daughter-in-laws would both like to have a stocking that matches their husbands. My daughters, I told them, you both cross-stitch. If you want more stockings, you need to make them yourself. But my sons and my daughter-in-laws don't cross-stitch yet. So I found out that they would like to have one, and I'm happy to make them one. That's exciting for me. So I have just added 2 stockings to my list. As you may remember in my couple of weeks ago, I said that I only have 2 small things to finish in December, Secret Snowdrift and the manger ornament, and they were not going to take me all of December. And so I was thinking maybe I'd start a new Christmas project. Well, I think it's going to be a stocking. Or 2. I guess I should do Hannah's first since she's been in our family longer. Lauren and Andrew just got married last summer, so hers will have to be second. And maybe Andrew's first if we can't find it. It's in this house. Where could it go? It's not like it's itty bitty. It's big enough that we've got to find it. And the other thing I really want to start, there was a long-term sub at our school. We had a teacher who missed the first 3 months of school, and so we had a substitute teacher that was there for her for the first 3 months of school, who was a retired teacher. She had just retired a year earlier and decided to do some substitute teaching because she still enjoyed being in the classroom with the kids. And she was so fun. But she has made cross-stitched on the front of sweatshirts. She made them for all of the teachers at her old school. She still gives them as gifts. She makes several a year. And in my head I'm thinking, oh yeah, sweatshirt, with the little something about this big, maybe right here, that's cross-stitched. You've seen that where you use the waist canvas and you attach it to the clothing and then you can stitch over it and then you pull the threads out of the waist canvas and then your design is still on there. That's how you get the grid onto the fabric. Well, she brought some in the last day before her job was ending and the teacher was coming back. She brought some in to show me, and it's the whole front of the sweatshirt. It's like a Santa face that's this big, or a Santa in a beautiful quilted coat it's the whole front of the sweatshirt, and they were the most gorgeous things I have ever seen. So I thought, I gotta make one of those. So I can wear it to school in December and to Christmas parties and stuff. I asked her a few details. I'm trying to remember if she said she did it on 10 count waist canvas or 7.5 count. I noticed that you can buy it in both of those. I'm going to have to experiment and see which one. And I think I still have her email. I could email her and ask her. She said she used all 6 strands of DMC floss. She didn't separate it at all. She just used the whole thing to stitch on that big of a count. And she said that the design has to be smaller than about 100 by 100 to fit on the front of the sweatshirt. So I'll just have to do some math and figure out whether that's 10 count or whether that's 7.5 count. And maybe experiment with the whole thing of, a whole hank of DMC, the whole piece, and see what it looks like on those two. I looked at some designs, and I think I'm going to do one of the Waxing Moon Christmas Trio houses. I bought a sweatshirt. Some of hers were on white, and some of them were on an off-white. She said she's done some on green, but she really likes the white and the off-white better. So I've got the sweatshirts. I've got a couple to choose from. The design is not quite here in the mail. I ordered it from 123 Stitch, which is just 30 minutes down the road from me, so it usually ships here really fast. And I will start that. So I'm going to start that in December too. Don't tell Catherine that I'm starting 2. Well, okay, if you count 2 stockings plus that'd be 3. Plus Andrew's stocking would be 4 things. Of course, I'll start 1 stocking at a time. My daughter Catherine is my WIP debt counselor, and she actually she has a degree in accounting. And when she was trying to put herself through school, she actually, when she was younger, worked in a debt payday loan store. So she has some strong opinions about money debt, and she likes to tease me about my WIP debt. But only because I'm always complaining that I have too many WIPs and that it's stressing me out. So she says it's my own rules. She's just trying to help me not have so many WIPs. Only because I say it stresses me out. So she's great that way. She's always making me accountable for my WIPs and what makes me happy and what doesn't. She's awesome that way. Okay. Let's see if we did all the things. Oh, Andrew's wedding sampler. I have the name of the designer. She's on Etsy. I will put that in the description below. I meant to look that up before I started the video and I didn't, but I will put it down there. You can get the ocean pattern from her. And then Michael's wedding sampler that Catherine designed. Catherine designed that from scratch. I mean, we looked at some pictures on Google and noticed there's a lot that have the 2 trees with the swing in between, and that was kind of where we got the idea. But she just, wow. We did it on my PC Stitch program on my computer. She'd work on it when she was over at my house. I think we found a tree pattern that we kind of adapted the trunks from. And I said I would stitch the part that was just DMC, that I could handle that part, just the straight cross stitch trunks and the swing. I did that part. But Catherine did the tops of those trees and the figuring out how it was all going to fit. She just made up that yarn. She bought 2 yarns that she thought looked good colors and just made up how she was going to stick them on there to look like 2 different trees. Took us a while to get the scriptures centered so that they looked good. We had to play around in that and PC Stitch for quite a while to make it all look balanced. But wow, Catherine, you're an amazing designer. And if you didn't understand in the video, Andrew was told when he got married last summer that he was not allowed to he couldn't pick a design that we had to design. He had to pick a piece that was already designed because that was hard. And when you have a deadline, because you're trying to have it done by the wedding reception so you can show it at the wedding reception, Catherine and I struggled on that. So that was why Andrew had the rule that no, we're not designing anymore. You have to pick a pattern that has already been designed and we'll stitch it for you. So that was fun. But I will put that link below of what Andrew's designed, who designed that. Instead of what I wish I was stitching segment, I'm just going to tell you that I wish I was stitching a sweatshirt for Christmas, and I'm actually going to start that. So that will be, I wish that's what I was stitching, and as soon as the pattern gets here in a couple days, then I'm going to start that. And I can't start a stocking yet because they are all of my family's was on mushroom lugana, and I didn't have any more of that, so I had to order some. So that should also be here in the next day or two from 123 Stitch. As soon as it gets here, I'll start that because that's DMC floss. And I believe that's everything. Have a great week, and I hope you get lots of stitching done. Bye-bye.